Hello everyone, hope things are well and welcome back. I am not even going to get into the last night. I forget it's happened now. In terms of my health, I'm doing okay. Just for anyone that has watched yesterday's video, still don't know what the hell happened in terms of my drink getting spiked or God knows what, but I'm okay. Not feeling great, but I'm well enough to be doing videos at least. But we've got to start off with that bombshell, haven't we? What is happening on social media over the past hour now? It's been reported by Craig Hope first as an exclusive article that Chelsea have inquired with Newcastle United over potentially buying Alexander Isak, where they are prepared, Chelsea are prepared to actually break their transfer record, which is mental when you think about it, because Chelsea's transfer record is £115 million for Caicedo. So if they are going to put a bid in for Isak, it will actually be higher than that bid. And that's where the interesting part comes in, because Isak, for me, I think will stay at Newcastle. We give the player a choice now. I don't think you'll go to Chelsea. But if Newcastle, with them PSR sales, what if we were to get some stupid like 130, 140, 150 million, which, first thing I might add, how the hell has Chelsea got this money? How can they put 120, 130 million pound bid in for Isak? Where have they got this money from? They've already bought some players. They haven't sort anything yet. Where are they getting this money from? They're one of the 6 teams, according to Sky Sports, that needed to sell for to buy for PSR. So the fact that they are inquiring about Isak definitely means that they've got money to spend on him. So where have they got this money from is the first question I'm asking. The second question I'm going to ask is, what's Newcastle going to do here? Now, if you give me the option straight away, I don't care how much this is. I don't care if it's £150 million. I would actually say no. Isak, for me, is irreplaceable. We can't replace Isak with £150 million, in my opinion. We can get a striker of lesser quality, yes. We can buy 5, maybe 6 good players with that money, yes. But the reality is, we don't have Isak anymore, and he's that good. I actually think he's that good. I think there's very few strikers in world football that can do what he does. He's so technically gifted on the ball. I think his IQ is incredible on the pitch. He just understands the game, and his technical ability is up there with the best in the world. He is honestly one of the world's best strikers. I'm not exaggerating or being biased by saying that. I think he is up there with the best. And our problem being is that we can sell some players, yes. Isak, for me, is not the one we should be selling. I think if we're selling Isak, we've got no chance next season of winning silverware. We need Isak in that club to make sure he's doing that. He's clearly happy staying. He's been expressive about it in interviews. He's been up to everything just going well. You know, Newcastle is the club I like to be at. I'm performing so well here. I want to stay here next season. And despite us finishing outside of Europe, it's a plan I'm confident to keep him. I still think we keep Isak now, and it has been reported by some journalists out there that obviously, despite the Chelsea reports, it's still looking positive for Newcastle and Isak. It still looks like Isak was getting towards that contract extension, getting a brand new deal that would get more money and to keep him at the club. I feel like now, in Isak's point of view, he's probably going to use this speculation almost to kind of fuel that contract. You'll probably use it and get a little bit of extra money from Newcastle, and that's fair enough. I think he deserves that extension. So whatever money Newcastle would now have to pay him, whatever it be, just let him have it. Keep him at the club. But it's fascinating though, because Chelsea are going to put a mega bid in, and I actually feel like Newcastle are probably waiting for a bid like this to come in for one of our players, even though it was for a player like a Bruno or an Isak, where a ridiculously high offer comes in. Because with £150 million on the flip side, what could you do with that money? Because it's not just the money you get in, it's the profit in Isak. And the profit in Isak is you bought a £60 million striker, which you're going to be selling for, you would assume, at least double the price. So the profit is just ridiculous. The profit's so high, so it then allows Newcastle to spend a stupid amount of money. Just look what Aston Villa has been able to do when they sold Jack Grealish, £100 million sold straight. I know the profit's much higher in Isak, but they were able to spend so much because of that sale, and it puts Newcastle in that predicament where do you sacrifice basically your best player to then get all of these players in? For me, I'm still sticking Isak. I would still keep him. I feel like we've got to keep him. It doesn't matter how much money they throw at us. For me, the money won't be enough because we'll be losing our best striker. You can't replace Isak. There's nobody we can get in that will be better than Isak, in my opinion. We might get a better all-round squad from it, but in terms of striker, there's not a better one than Isak out there. So straight away, in my personal opinion on this topic, I think we should keep him. In terms of our news, it has been reported on social media that the Premier League will now review every single sign Newcastle United makes this summer. Due to the fact that over the last week there's been quite a suspicious amount of teams, especially the 6 teams that are needing PSR sales before June the 30th, where teams that essentially buy swap with each other. So in Newcastle's case, it was between us and Everton, where I would see Yankuba Minteh go to Everton and Dominic Calvert-Lewin go to us. Now, the Premier League believes that we are basically helping each other out. So Everton were also doing this Aston Villa, where one player will go out and one player will go in. And it was also Aston Villa and Chelsea, I believe. So all of these teams are teams that need player sales for June the 30th. So the Premier League is now basically looking in and making sure that not only do we have to sell players because of the Premier League laws, we have to also sell them to certain clubs. So we basically can't sell our player to Everton because they know that Everton needs help, and then when we buy a player with Everton, it also helps them out. So they're basically looking to make sure that we don't help our teams out and we don't get out of this PSR situation. So not only can we not spend all the money that we want on the FFP, we now also can't even sell our players to some clubs. So they're going, nope, it's not happening at all. We weren't going to buy Dominic Calvert-Lewin anyway because the price cap was too high. Newcastle didn't want to spend £40 million. And Yankuba Minteh is still expected to leave this week. Newcastle is still pushing to get him out of the door. He's just not going to Everton now. That's the only thing that just changed in my last video. He's just not going to Everton, but he's still expected to leave this week. According to reports, Yankuba Minteh is expected out the door. I feel like it is going to happen. Newcastle are fixed on selling him. A lot of you guys disagree with it, but it's unfortunately the situation where the club's looking at. But I just think this situation is mental. I mean, what are you even going to here, man? We're not even allowed to buy players from Everton. We're not even allowed to sell to Everton because they are also amongst the PSR situation was. I mean, how many new laws is there going to be? How many times is Newcastle going to do something where the Premier League is then going to investigate this? We're actually going to go, well, you know what, we're not going to allow you to do this. We're going to review every single sign. Every single sign we make, they're going to look into it and make sure we believe it's a legit buy. We're going to let you buy this player. And it's just, you know, I mean, it's ridiculous, isn't it? Just proper ruins everything. Newcastle have got that money to spend. The Premier League are losing out on players, really. I mean, how are so many players going to the Saudi League? I mean, if you look at a player now, how many players are going to go to the Premier League now? It's mental. There's so many players that are just not in our league. The world's best players are not in the Premier League. Some of them are, but most of them aren't. And it's just due to just crap like this. It's just mental, but yeah, in terms of investment, it's not looking great, is it? I mean, you're seeing the Championship as well. You see Birmingham City in the Championship try and get a Championship game hosting America. I mean, what on earth is going on with English football? I mean, it's just such a nightmare. I can't even be arsed to get down that wormhole. But the problem Newcastle find themselves in now is that we are actually getting looked into properly. Every single sign we make is getting investigated. We've got to make sure every single sign is a legit buy. So we can't sell Everton, we can't buy Everton, we can't get Chelsea players legit, apparently, which makes the Isak sale interesting because let's say theoretically Chelsea buy Isak this week, would that be allowed? Because it's a PSR sale. It's going to help Newcastle. That money's going to go to Newcastle to help our PSR out. So would the Premier League approve that sale? Because it looks like they're going to approve the other swap deal. So how does the Isak deal pan into that? But it's just silly, isn't it? I mean, if I honestly got to come out with a video on here and talk about all this, I mean, yes, obviously, I think the sales do look suspicious. When you see all the teams there, as Roy Talk Football point out, you see all the teams there, it does look a bit dodgy when all the teams need to sell this week and all of a sudden they're all buying and selling off each other. But at the same time, it's we've got to do that because of these stupid, stingy laws from the Premier League. We're just allowed to spend whatever. All the teams can just spend and have a good time. But it's one of them ones. Obviously, I'm biased in saying it would benefit Newcastle if I said that, but at the same time, you know, I'm just sick of this, man. How many videos I got to come out and make where it's just some crap coming on? But it is what it is. Honestly, it is what it is, and it's just one of them ones where we'll get around it. Newcastle have done well since takeover. I know it may not feel that way when you're not in Europe. I know you guys wanted European football, but the reality is we still had a good season last year, despite us obviously dropping out of Europe. We still got top 7, still got a couple of good cup runs in us, still competing in the Champions League. It wasn't quite everything that we want to see, but we've got a much better year ahead of us. I think we'll keep Isak, in my opinion now. I don't think we'll sell Isak. I'm intrigued to see where this goes though, because it's massive. I mean, we're talking well over £120 million for our player. It's mad. That money's crazy, but I don't think we'll sell him. I don't think we'll sell him. I think Isak's irreplaceable. I think we are selling in this window. We're going to be shooting ourselves in the foot because we can get all that money, but I don't think the money means anything if you can't replace him. I don't think we can replace him. There's not a striker out there realistically I think we can get him that's going to get 20 goals next season. I just don't think there's a player out there that we're realistically going to get. So it's a tricky one. I'm intrigued to see what Newcastle does, but for me, you've got to keep him. I can't stress it now. Keep. Do not let him go. And making sure that we do that job. But I think we'll keep him. I don't think he'll go anywhere, and it's just one of them ones where, as time will tell, we'll see what happens next. But hopefully you guys enjoyed that. A couple of big topics to talk about there. Didn't want to talk on for too much because I know I have already got an England video on from yesterday. But obviously the big topics being is that, well, one, Isak potentially going to Chelsea. Don't think it's going to happen. And two, of course, everything going on with the Premier League. I'm done. I'm done with it. I cannot be asked to bang out about the Premier League anymore. But thank you guys for watching. No, I'm not going to keep it any longer. The sun is beaming out here, so I'm going to enjoy my day. I'm going to make sure that I'm all well for tomorrow. But thank you all for watching, though. Wish you all the best, and we'll see you in the next one.